I'm a big fan of webinars. I think I ran my first one in 2009, back when I had, actually it was a tele seminar. And I made the mistake of trying to sell something online without having a website. And so at the end it was like, so if you'd like to do this, then send me an email with your phone number and contact details and I'll call you tomorrow. And I had 46 people say yes please, which was awesome. But then I spent my whole day tomorrow just calling everyone and doing this 15-minute. So just remember, do you remember what it was? Yep, okay, well, it was that. And so what I need to do now is take your payment, and I write that down. So what's going to happen next is completely unautomated. I reckon when we run a webinar, we've got two goals. The first goal is that we want to deliver a webinar that rocks hard. In other words, it wants to deliver amazing value. So even the people who don't buy get off it going, that was amazing. Thank you so much for putting that together, and walk away with some value and a smile. Is that cool? And number two, we want to run a webinar that converts like crazy. And a lot of people try to run a webinar that sells. And so you have great conversion once, and all the people who were on the webinar and didn't buy tell their friends and never come back, and you kind of squandered your opportunity. Does that make sense? That's kind of what we want to avoid. Are you feeling me so far? Yeah, so we want it to, number one, rock hard, and number two, convert like crazy. Let's just jump straight in. Here's why I reckon webinars rock. There's a bunch of smart people in the room. Some of you guys are already doing it, who are getting hip to the fact you can run a webinar to attract and convert and deliver. Webinars to market and grow your list, to sell your products and services, to then deliver. Unfortunately, though, sometimes the weather's not that great and we can screw it up pretty bad. I reckon there's two big problems that happens when we try to run a webinar. Problem number one is we have low numbers. I was talking to someone on the break just before who did his first webinar. I was like super pumped. And he had 6 people on it, which is super cool for your first one, so kudos to you. But there's nothing worse than trying to sell to an audience of 1. First ever live event I tried to promote, I was hired by this action coach guy, and he gave me this book, 74 pages worth of scripts that I was meant to follow. I had 2 weeks to jump on the phone. I was like the marketing manager for the world's #1 business coaching team was my job title. And my job was to call through the list, get people to say yes to coming to a seminar. So I did what I was told. I jumped on the phone and I followed the script, and there was like blue was what I said. Black was like to transition from one session to the section of the script to the next, and red was what they were meant to say back. We get to the start of the event. I've set up the room. Coach is inside pacing. The action coach guy was pacing inside, nervous because it was his first gig too, and I was out the front at registration, where the name tags are. And there's 24 name tags there, which was the number we were aiming for because the Legends room could only fit that. And 6:30 registration for a 7 o'clock start. 6:30, nobody's there. Okay, that's cool. We're early. It'll be fine. 6:45, no one's there. 6:50, 10 to go, no one's there. 5 minutes to go. I'm like, he's like, did you call everyone and make sure they're coming? Yeah, I called everyone and made sure they were coming. They all said it sounded really great and I can't wait to be there. At 2 minutes to, 2 people showed up. One of them was my best mate, Mike, who came for moral support. And one of them was an actual real prospect. And there's nothing more embarrassing than presenting to an audience of 1. So we're talking about 2 big problems. Number 1 is low show up rates, and number 2 is low sales. There's nothing worse than pouring your heart out, giving amazing value, and then people at the end of it do what Dan was talking about before, and they clap and they say that was amazing, thank you, and nobody gives you any money. When I was 9, I was walking through Darling Harbour here in Sydney. Used to live in Melbourne, came up and visited my dad, walking through Darling Harbour, holding his hand, and there's this busker who's got this enormous crowd around him. He's just done his pièce de résistance and his last move, and everyone's cheering. He just yelled out, "Don't clap, throw money." And I just remember that. And so the whole silent close thing, Dan, super killer, because don't clap, throw money is exactly what we want. Why webinars? Number 1, you don't have to travel. You can run them from your place in shorts and a t-shirt, no shoes, and just do your thing. There's no travel, no setup, no pack down, no none of that. Number 2, it's choreographed. The problem with selling one-on-one is that when you do your one-on-one sell, you get objections and excuses and stalls. So the truth is you've got to sell at some stage, right? But you can sell at the end, which I call hard sell. We have to overcome the objections, deal with the excuses, and move through the stalls. So you can hard sell at the end, or you can pre-sell in the beginning. And what I love about webinars, you might want to write this down. First thing I love about webinars is you can choreograph the close. So you hit every objection through the content. So when it comes to the offer piece at the end, all of the bugs have been squashed and you can just sell your stuff. Does that make sense? Hands up who here likes to hard sell. Kind of what I thought, right? So you got a choice. You can hard sell or you can pre-sell. Right? You can sell at the start or you can sell at the end. I'd rather be selling all the way through so that my offer at the end is just super natural and people just go, wow, this is a complete fit for me and I'm going to go do it. Cool?